Hi, what's going on, A-Push peeps? Today we are talking about the Pueblo Revolt, which is also known as the First American Revolution. Alright, so before we get into the Pueblo Revolt, we need to address the one question. Why is this revolt so important to learn about? Well, the Pueblo Revolt is so important to learn about because it applies to today's society. It is one of the most successful Native American rebellions that took place on land of the present-day United States. Moreover, people today use the Pueblo Revolt as an example for protests over racial injustice, such as the 2020 protests. Here we go. Here are the key concepts that you need to know about the Pueblo Revolt. Key Concept 2.1. Europeans developed a variety of colonization and migration patterns which are influenced by different imperial roles, cultures, and the varied North American environments where they settled, and they competed with each other and the Native Americans for resources. Between 1492, the year when Christopher Columbus discovered America, in 1754, the Europeans decided to build colonies in areas such as North America. Different Europeans made different attempts at colonization. This brings us to the A-Push Key Concept 2.11a. Spanish, French, Dutch, and British colonizers had different economic and imperial goals involving land and labor that shaped the social and political development of their colonies as well as their relationships with native populations. While the French had friendly relations with the Native Americans and often traded fur with the natives, the Spanish were harsher with the natives, forcing them to endure hard labor and forcing them to be converted to Christianity, as we learn in A-Push Key Concept 2.11a2. A-Push Key Concept 2.11a2 states that the Spanish efforts to extract wealth from the land led them to develop institutions based on subjugating native populations, converting them to Christianity or Catholicism, and incorporating them, along with enslaved and free Africans, into the Spanish colonial society. The Pueblo Revolt was a bloody uprising in 1680 led by the Native Americans who were angry by the Spanish efforts to colonize North America. Now let's address the main causes of the Pueblo Revolt. The main cause of the Pueblo Revolt was that the Spanish suppressed the religion of the Native Americans. The Spanish conquistadors forced the conversion of many of the Pueblos. Besides religious persecution, other causes which were violence and drought also led to the Pueblo Revolt. What happened during this revolt? Well, during this revolt, the Native Americans congregated and planned to strike Santa Fe. Under the leadership of Pope, there was persecution and violence, as well as a return to native customs. During the Pueblo Revolt, Native Americans destroyed many mission churches in an effort to diminish Catholic physical presence on Pueblo land. As a response, the Spanish counterattacked. It was a success, as many Spanish settlers died, and the Pueblo Native Americans reestablished their religious institutions and a government of their own. The leader of the Pueblo Revolt, Pope, initiated a campaign to eradicate Spanish cultural elements by disallowing the use of the Spanish language, insisting that the Native Americans who were baptized as Catholics be bathed in water in order to negate their baptisms, and banning Christian religious ceremonies of those Native Americans. What were the long-term effects of the Pueblo Revolt? Well, the Native Americans successfully took control of present-day New Mexico, but 12 years later, the Spanish reconquered and regained the land. Don Diego de Vargas was a key Spanish figure in the Pueblo Revolt. He returned in 1692 and regained control of the Pueblo land. When he took over, it was a bloodless reconquest. Eventually, New Mexico was completely under Spanish control. Although they regained the lands, Spanish missionary vision was somewhat compromised by the sentiment blended up during the uprising. Quick recap. So what did we learn? We learned about the Pueblo Revolt. We learned about what were the main causes of the Pueblo Revolt, what happened during the Pueblo Revolt, as well as the short and long-term effects of the Pueblo Revolt. So thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. Bye guys!